Everybody, we got a good sized clog right here. Check it out, holding up a pool of water. And it's caused by a few sticks like usual. Look at all the leaves go. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, ton of flow now. Those leaves just blasted through there like nothing. We got a whole flow, there's a big slurry of flowing leaves going down there. All right, now that all the surge is gone, it was all caused by this one big stick. Look at this, the little pool is gone. Let's get all this other debris out of here. All clear. The sound of rocks in there, doesn't that sound amazing? All clear. I'm not sure what this camera's doing. Can't see a thing. Come on, camera. There we go. All right, this does sound pretty cool. Listen to these rocks go through here. Here they come. Boom, 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 boom. All clear. But yet more and more of them keep eroding through. And that's probably going to keep happening. Check it out, everybody. We've been to this swamp before. See the big beaver dam right there? Holding this amount of water up. It's not too close to the road, so it's not a concern. Right here, we got the culvert pipe with barely anything coming out of it. That means there might be a clog like there was last time we were at this location. You see the cracks in the road? This culvert has been replaced since it was paved. Let's see what it looks like on this side. Is there any kind of blockage? No, there's not a blockage, amazingly. Thought there would have been more flow. It rained a ton. All right, everybody, right now we're going up Long Pond Road because we had a bunch of rain yesterday, and hopefully we can see a little bit higher flow. Since we can't actually come up here during the spring thaw, during mud season, meaning up until May, this road is gated off. Nobody is allowed on it. So you'd have to hike up from the gated area, which is probably a 6-mile round trip or so. Just want to see today if we can see anything extra. And yep, the gate is still open for the winter. Hopefully they'll be shutting this gate because this road can get very dangerous in the winter. And tonight, there's going to be a snowstorm of 5 to 8 inches. So hopefully they'll shut this road down tonight. That's what they're supposed to do. It'll then become a snowmobile trail. This road sure took a beating. Right here, that erosion's been there for months, but that's from the drainage ditch not being big enough and it overflowing onto the road, causing erosion. There are quite a few big tree branches that I'm having to run over today from yesterday's storm. All right, it's pretty windy out here today. But there is more flow than there's been in times past. Got a good 2 inches of rain yesterday. And this thing barely tops on a normal day. So it's something to get this amount of water here. Pretty cool. It's so nice. I come down here and there's no wind. Just relaxing sounds of water. Now, we're gonna go to the real reason we're out here. They just built this dam right here this spring because the old one was crumbling and failing. But now we're gonna go head further up this dirt road to a culvert pipe that's failing. It was failing a month ago. I wanna see what they did. Link to that video in the description. The original report showing the sinkhole. All right, everybody, we're at that troublesome culvert pipe from the spring. And right here, if you look down there, that's the long pond we were just at. And way over there, you can even see the dam. See the dam way over there? Well, we're here now to check this culvert pipe. Here in the middle, that's actually a patch. Let's see what's happening. You can already tell it's the same culvert pipe. It's got a little bit of flow in it. Did not have flow in it last time we went to check it out. So look inside. See the crushed area? Actually, it doesn't look that bad right now. I'm hoping before they patched it, they at least put something over it to cover up the hole. And you can see the entire blockage washed out. That's what all this rock is. The blockage from last time. The blockage last time, everyone said it made it look like a big heart shape. You see where it's crushed in the middle? Where the two separate that's where the two separate culvert pipes come together right there. A big truck drove over it and crushed it, knocking a ton of soil, blocking probably 90% of the pipe. But obviously, flowing water has eroded it away. There's nothing wrong here if they covered that up. All they had to do is cover up that broken part, which is where their patch is. And these are not logging roads. These are roads owned by the National Forest. And it's not like on a logging road. They take great care of these roads here. And because this is not a logging road, the National Forest Service made a huge thing out of this for nothing. They posted this online saying this road's going to be closed down for a long time. There's a big old sinkhole out here. Looking at the pictures, it was a tiny little hole. You can see how big the patch was. The hole itself in the culvert was probably a few inches wide that allowed it to go in. But they were like, this road's going to be shut down for a long time. No, they just put something over it and patched it, and that's the end of it. And they posted a whole article about this thing, how it's going to cause delays on this artery between the two towns. But nope, nothing ever happened. They fixed it in probably a half hour or something. Check out the erosion on the left side of this road. That drainage ditch is so small it needs to be dug out professionally. See it? All the debris and leaves pushed up into the edge of the road. But they know what they're doing. Check this out. They have a red or orange ribbon at every single culvert pipe, so they make sure they don't hit it when they come to clean it, because they must plan on doing that pretty soon. Hey everyone, today we're here at the Maplewood train station where they just demolished it. That was pretty sad. About 2 weeks ago we came out here, it was completely demolished. So here's their sign right here. If anyone wants to read it, I'm gonna go over it, make sure it's able to be paused. So this town for about 2 years now has been collecting donations to restore this old building. Then they come and tear it down. So a lot of people with my last video were arguing with me saying that place was way far restoration. So anyways, first thing, if they raised enough money to do it properly, it would not have been a danger to any of the employees. People were arguing in my video saying that if this place was to be restored, it would be dangerous to the workers inside it dismantling it. But that's not true. They had heavy braces up against it to ensure it doesn't fall over. Although I think those braces that were against it were like overkill, because that thing stood almost an entire century leaning like that. Anyways, that was just to give them guys some time. But anyways, it was supported, meaning they could have put more supports around it and used a giant cherry picking truck to slowly dismantle it from the top down. Then it can't collapse on them, because that thing, when I went inside it, except for the center of the building where the steeple was missing, there was no water damage around the edges. All the wooden shingles on the roof were perfect condition. The siding on the building was in perfect condition. In other places, it could have been straightened out. Although the only stuff that they did take off the building was the door and window trims on the outside, not the internal parts of the building. They should have saved the chimney, all the bricks. Even if the new building isn't going to be built exactly the same, they could have taken all the bricks and mortared them in invisible places. But anyways, on their signs that they have up, in this one that's knocked over, it says they are going to restaurate the building. That's not what they are doing at all. What they are doing here is building a replica. A replica and a restoration are totally different things. They could have just put that on their sign. But turns out, a bunch of stuff actually overnight when they were demolishing it was stolen. All the metal pieces that they had out here, they were going to catalog it for when they eventually rebuild it. Someone stole them all in the middle of the night. It could have just been a simple misunderstanding that that stuff wasn't going to be cataloged by whoever did it. Although, you know they're never going to return it. And they also weren't scrap collectors. Because look, there's still a few 55-gallon barrels just sitting here in the woods. Bunch of broken glass everywhere. Sad to see this old train station completely gone. Very, extremely sad. A new building is just not going to be the same because it has to follow new building codes. If this was a restoration, they could have got in there and they could have put a second piece of stud up against the old existing one. They could have straightened it out. Yes, that is a very, very expensive job. But that's what their sign says. It does not say replica. But also, other people's story says that the people trying to preserve this place, they were dragging their feet. And the owners of the property, which is the casino golf course building behind us, they didn't want to wait anymore. And you know rich people when they don't want to wait. They just came in here with an excavator and ripped it down. They ripped it down in one day. If this was a restoration, they should have had a cherry-picking truck up above it, slowly dismantling it by hand, slowly dismantling it so nothing would be damaged. There is no preservation when you are using an excavator for this kind of job. That just totally tore the whole thing down. If they would have put braces on other sides if they were still scared, then when they would have cherry-picking truck from the top, even if it fell over, if you're above it doing that work, you're going to hear that thing starting to creak before it starts to move, you know what I mean? And you just lift up a little bit and let it fall. They have cherry-picking trucks that are so big, the truck could be down there out of reach and they could just have the whole thing coming in here. They have really big cherry-picking trucks, but that's also a very expensive job. So if they weren't prepared to pay for something like that, that's going to cost at least $500,000, I'd say. They shouldn't even have started with this sign and stuff. Although maybe they thought more people would do it. I know a bunch of people who live in these surrounding towns, and they paid out money, not because they really cared about the building, but sadly just for tax reduction, but they still paid a whole bunch. Yeah, a lot of people will give to these non-charitable donations just to get themselves in a lower tax bracket. It benefits them and it benefits the project too. I don't see a problem with that. But I know a lot of people who have done that for this exact project. But that's kind of sad. Hey everyone, today we're driving on a street that I was showing last year where they installed all the culverts incorrectly. They're not putting them down. Hey everyone, today we are driving on a street that I showed last year where they installed all the culverts incorrectly. Whether it be the culvert's not long enough to get off the road where it doesn't cave in, or the culvert's not in the ground deep enough, or it's just stupid insulation, undersized culverts. Now today, I promised I'd come back on a very rainy day to this area, and we're gonna see how bad it really is. So I know we're gonna see a few of them probably flooding over the road today, because we're getting a lot of rain. Might have to come back for some extra footage in the spring when the ground is still frozen to show the culverts can't take care of it. We got a culvert right here, a little bit of built up water, but that water's built up because they put a few little dams until the grass grows. They don't want water rushing too much. But the real issues are like another mile or two further. And also right here, real smart, putting the telephone pole directly in the center of the drainage ditch. All right, we're at the end at a cul-de-sac where they're about to be putting up a bunch of multi-million-dollar houses. Basically have to be a millionaire to live on this street, since all the lots are selling for like 275 grand. Now right here, I guess it's not raining enough, or it's not at the moment. You see all this sand in the road? That's because there's a culvert pipe right here that's too small, and it sends the surge of water up and over the street. Now at the moment, it's not clogged. I'm not seeing any water in front of it. So I guess I didn't come at a big enough storm. But at least I did see the sand all over the road. So that backs up that the pipe is not big enough. Here comes a coal train. We chased it back there. We had to get a lead on it. Took about 65 miles an hour to get ahead of this thing. This guy's probably going around 55 or so. Well, he was. It looks like he slowed down. Maybe he'll blow the horn for us. Look at all that coal. Real long coal train. I see the end of it. I can't believe how clean this train is. There's so little graffiti because it's such a rural area. And it doesn't look like this train really goes into the cities. Very little graffiti. It's amazing. I've never been rail fanning outside of New England before. Well, that was awesome to see. Real awesome. Check out this Walmart parking lot. The majority of this parking lot is angled towards this one massive drain, which I've never seen before. Usually they'd have a whole bunch of drains, but the entire thing is tilted towards this one drain. Check it out. Massive drain. I'm going to show you guys where this thing comes out. There are a couple more drains against that plaza, which I assume connect to the same side. Something else I've never seen before. Either side of this Walmart, there's no way to get to the loading dock. To get to the loading dock, there's a separate entrance. There's a little road down there that the trucks take so they don't have to go through the parking lot. Weird, I've never seen that setup before. Have also never seen a Walmart gas station, but they have them. I've seen a few of them in this area. Now we're gonna go check out the discharge. All right, we're down here at the bottom. This is the discharge for the parking lot where that big drain is. Take a look at these baffles. When it comes blasting out of the culvert, it'll hit this concrete wall, drop it down, and it has to come back out of this hole. That's to slow it down so it doesn't cause damage downstream here. I gotta point out, this is the only Walmart I've ever seen that does not have a retention pond. This just simply flows down and the river is right there. Maybe it's a lack of property. Maybe they weren't allowed to interrupt this wetland to build a retention pond, but I've never seen that before. Never seen a Walmart without a retention pond. You see the giant culvert over there? It's actually not that big. It looks to be a 3-foot pipe. But this is the whole discharge for the Walmart Plaza, which is pretty cool. Them not having a retention pond actually, it's kind of a bad thing. You know why? You're not just releasing a ton of parking lot rainwater runoff into a river at once. Retention pond is so, if a whole bunch of businesses do this at once, it doesn't cause a flood downstream. One thing, this is a pretty rural Walmart. It's not a super center. Super center probably wouldn't survive. It's just a regular Walmart. Small one. And one reason that a retention pond, other than holding back water, does, this one right here will hold silt, like in this pit. But then again, probably not. It'll be blasting so hard, you see the water line in there, that any silt gets like sucked out of it. But a regular retention pond is big, and it allows silt and grime from the parking lot to settle, so it doesn't come into our waterways. It also has an emergency overflow grate, so garbage that goes down the parking lot drains can't go into the river. I honestly think they should have a gigantic like net on the end of this thing, like some cities have for stormwater discharge. But then again, a lot of cities also don't check it. Walmart's a privately owned company, so maybe they would do better maintenance on this whole thing. But I think there should be a garbage bag on the end of that, like a giant net to collect trash. Just because it's a Walmart parking lot and you know people dump stuff in there all the time. Although, for a Walmart hillside, it's pretty clean. There's only a few pieces of garbage.